meeting to order and ask for a roll call.
Blunier? Here. Hilliard?
Here.
Leach?
Here.
Mennel?
Here.
Newman?
Here.
Parrott? Here. We have a quorum.
If you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no public hearing or presentations. Anybody who'd like to make a comment from the public?
Good evening, Mayor and Trustees. Leanne Brown with the Morton Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Council. Just want to share a few updates and opportunities that are still available. The state of Illinois, through the DCO, still has the Back to Business grants. The portal is still open through next Wednesday, May 10th. Back to Business grants for this round pertain to hotels, restaurants, and creative arts categories. We've got all the details at our office. We've shared it out publicly, but if anybody has any questions or know of other businesses that we could put that on their radar, again, the portal's open until next Wednesday. It is not a first come, first served type program, so they will review all the applications and issue out the eligible appropriate funding from there. Also, upcoming May 11th, we have our next small business organization roundtable, Coffee and Connect. Captivation Dance will be hosting us, so that'll be 9 a.m. on May 11th for our business and organization Coffee and Connect roundtable. Open invitation for any business here in Morton or organization that would like to join us. And then later this week, on May 4th, we're going to celebrate the closing reception of our Morton Mentor Program. So this is a program that we continue to host through the Morton EDC to match up our Morton High School students to a business mentor and explore their career pathway opportunities. So we'll be celebrating a closing reception this Thursday. And then, of course, always have to share something about Pumpkin Festival. Again, 57th Morton Pumpkin Festival this year. Farmin' Pumpkins is our theme. And the parade marshal applications are out. So if you want to nominate anybody to be our parade marshal, those applications are open. And then also, if you want to be in the parade, that parade application is open as well. So thanks for letting me share.
Thank you. The consent agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting, April 17th, 2023, and the approval of the bills. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve. Second.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Blunier? Hilliard?
Yes.
Leach?
Yes.
Mennel?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Parrott?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Tonight we have a proclamation for the Morton City Choir and the Central Illinois Memorial Kidney Fund.
The proclamation is entitled Morton Civic Chorus and the Central Illinois Memorial Kidney Fund. Whereas the Central Illinois Memorial Kidney Fund was formed in 1976 by Dr. Robert Fletterer, a Morton resident, and Peoria's first nephrologist, Dr. Kent Bryant and Meredith Carroll. And whereas the Central Illinois Memorial Kidney Fund serves chronic kidney disease patients receiving dialysis in the Central Illinois area by providing assistance to cover the cost of transportation, groceries, medication, and other emergency living expenses not covered by health care, Medicare, or Medicaid. And whereas the Morton Civic Chorus is the largest fundraiser for the Central Illinois Memorial Kidney Fund, having raised a cumulative $1.6 million for dialysis patients. And whereas the Morton Civic Chorus will perform their production of Encore at the Bertha Frank Performing Arts Center May 25th through May 28th as a part of their fundraising efforts. Now therefore, as President of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Morton, Illinois, in recognition of 47 years of fundraising by the Morton Civic Chorus on behalf of the Central Illinois Memorial Kidney Fund, I do hereby proclaim the month of March National Kidney Month and urge all residents to join in an effort to improve awareness of chronic kidney disease. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the Village of Morton to be affixed, dated this first day of May 2023.
We'd certainly like to thank the Morton Civic Choir for this endeavor. It again just shows how Morton citizens always pull together. Some serve on boards, some do coaching, some raise money. It's a great community, and thank you for all your efforts over these years. So. So if we could present this to you, Linda and Norm. You have 2 copies of this. And thanks again for all you've done for the community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your
And,
Honor.
and nice to see you, Your Honor.
And we have rehearsal this evening. Sorry, on behalf of myself and Jenny Key and Vicki Dicker's still singing, former members Eric Johnson and my husband David, and of course Norm is serving as our honorary chair this year, so.
Is he singing? I would come to
He
that.
comes to rehearsals, so you might as well join us on stage.
I do like my son did in grade school. He mouthed it.
Yeah, right.
I knew you'd have a comeback. Thank you.
So we hope to come to you and show.
All righty. Appreciate it. The only other thing I have tonight is I'd like to make all the trustees aware, in your emails, you'll find a letter from the police and fire commissioners who have all signed on to the possibility of hiring those additional officers. So you can see their reasoning, and we'll be discussing that, the fire department, probably in the June meetings. So you'd like to be aware of that, and you can certainly ask questions during the meantime. Okay? Other than that, I have nothing. Village clerk,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
village administrator.
I have one item tonight, Your Honor. The building district, the Business District Commission met in April, and they have 2 recommendations for grants for Sam Parrott for 2 locations. One is at 201 South Main and one at 207 South Main. The 201 South Main total project cost is $22,915. The 207 South Main is $20,115. And this is to replace the windows and doors on those 2 locations to look similar. I think it's exactly like the ones that he's already done on Adams, where the former downtown diner and Riley's auto or appliance repair was. They have made recommendations for approval of a $10,000 grant for each location.
So can we have a motion?
Move approval of both grants.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Call the roll.
Parrott?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Mennel?
Yes.
Leach?
Yes.
Hilliard?
Yes.
Blunier? Yes. Motion carries.
Corporation Council.
One item tonight, Your Honor, I have ordinance 24-01, which is an ordinance setting a public hearing on a proposal to exchange 88 acres, more or less, of farmland off Broadway Road, Morton, Illinois, for 18.737 acres and .757 acres off of Detroit Avenue.
And this, do we need a vote on that?
We need a motion and a second to approve the
Do
ordinance.
you have a motion?
Second.
And this pertains to the Springfield Clinic land deal that they will building a very large facility on Detroit Street. And then the city would pick up the other 10 acres for future development from Birchwood to the tracks, right here behind us here on Detroit. So any comments or questions?
Slight additional perspective on it, the ordinance you're approving tonight would schedule a public hearing, which is required before you can enter into an agreement and approve that agreement to make an exchange of real estate. That hearing would happen at the May 15th meeting.
All right, call the roll.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Leach,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Mennel,
Yes.
Parrot. Yes. Motion carries.
Yes, Your Honor, that's all I have.
Director and Fire Emergencies?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Okay, other than thanks for putting out our large fire the other day. Yeah. We had a very large turnout and 3 other departments there, so.
A great deal of water. It's
Yes.
all readily available, but yeah, we, thank a number of different departments for coming in and helping
I
us.
think Washington, Deer Creek, East Peoria.
Yes, Tremont, Pekin, and I think that's it.
Okay. All right, Director of Public Works.
Several items tonight, Your Honor. First, in front of you, item A, I'd like to ask for acceptance of bid for the East Jackson Street Sewer Separation Project in the amount of $695,068.72, and award of contract for same to Autobahn Company Incorporated.
So moved. Second.
Wanna make any-
Yeah, I'd like to add a few comments. Unfortunately, we had one bidder again, so I at least want to communicate that. I believe it was workforce and workload was the main reason. I would expect in these type of projects to have more bidders, so that was a little disappointing. And then this was over our budget, and what was budgeted with the most recent that's effective May 1, we budgeted $570,000. So in typical years, I probably would maybe take another swing at this, maybe next year. Unfortunately with this one, this is our last action item as a part of our long-term control plan with the IEPA, that we have a compliance date for completion of December 31st, 2023. So through careful discussion and reaching out to even some other contractors, I do feel at this point it is the time to move forward. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions, but I'd like to ask for approval.
Any comments? It is a Morton company, and they have done some very nice work for us lately, so call the roll.
Newman,
Yes.
Parrot. Yes. Mennel,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next 4 are ordinance revisions. The first 2 are a little more important than the last 2, which are more cleanup. So first one is item B. This is ordinance 24-02, an ordinance making amendments to section 8416 regarding water leakage forgiveness.
Motion to approve. Second.
We'll make some count.
Yes, just a quick summary. This just adds, we've denied all these requests to date, but this just formalizes this in the ordinance. I worked with Julie on this, but we do get from time to time requests for claims on water used by the water power backup sump pump. We don't believe this should be forgiveness because it's doing what it's supposed to be doing as far as using water. So to us, that's not a failure. I would encourage people though to pay attention and when their water backups on to be cautious if you have one, understand that you have one. So this would just make it to where it's an automatic denial of water forgiveness in the use of your water power backup sump.
So have you had requests for adjustments for just the normal usage? Because I know you did have one incident where the system failed and was basically recirculating water.
Yes.
And that was denied clearly, you know, there was a problem with the installation of the system. But we've had others that actually would come in and request forgiveness because their sump pump worked.
They will request it when their electric sump pump fails and then their water backup kicks in and they wanted us to write off. We can write off up to $500 of their bill, but that's what the water backup is there for,
Yeah.
is to kick in. And so, you know, if there's a failure in the water backup system, that's a different story. But if it's just running like it's supposed to because their electric failed, then that shouldn't be entitled to forgiveness, which, like Craig said, we've denied it, but there really wasn't anything in the code that says we could do that.
I honestly can't believe people would have the nerve to ask for an adjustment.
You'd be surprised.
I guess I'll just make another comment. I'm very uncomfortable with the use of water turbine driven backup sump pumps, because there is going to be the day when we have a widespread power outage, and and these are becoming very prevalent, and they're going to put a real burden on our water system. Use a lot of water that we may not have readily available during such events, such as a long-term power outage.
Yeah.
Just a bad idea from the get-go. But that's, I guess, my opinion.
Any other comments? Call the roll.
Blunier,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Leach,
Yes.
Mennel. Newman,
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next is item C, ordinance 24-03, an ordinance making amendments to chapter 1 of title 4 of the Morton Municipal Code regarding building permits for foundation repair.
Motion?
Move to approve. Second.
This is something that's been discussed for quite some time, and I think now is the time to save, from a catastrophic issue. But this would require a building permit for all foundation repairs. This would be a $150 fee. The main reason that we want to do this is to inspect the backfill procedures. And in particular, we've had several cases where our concerns are a house blowing up due to improper backfilling along the foundation, of which they don't want to compact a bunch. So what happens, and we had one recently over the last year, the gas line's in there, so if the gas line's fixed at the foundation and fixed on the other side of the excavation, it's loosely backfilled over time. That pulls the gas line down and has caused leaks, which with a gas leak, sometimes it will go to the path of least resistance, which unfortunately in this case was inside the home. So we're seeing more concerns with that. So we're not trying to get in. I know some of these guys, it's more the waterproofing type companies, Vicks, some of those type ones, but we feel we need to get eyes on it to make sure they're backfilling correctly, especially around gas lines and stuff like that.
So this would be for repairs that involved excavation of the exterior of the foundation.
Yes, correct.
It wouldn't include things like some of the, again, companies that drive support rods out through the foundation out into the
This
exterior.
would be that too. So
It
you
would-
typically you're excavating some to do that work too. So Helitech, those type companies. Yeah, so anything to do with your foundation, any sort of foundation repair, we want a permit for that. The sad part is now we know about them because you get a Julie locate for a lot of these. So we're out tracking them down. This would just make it a little more formal. So any sort of foundation repair where you're not doing like an addition where you would need a permit anyway. This would get our eyes on it. Our gas guys would be aware, and then our office would go out and inspect, or at least communicate with them on backfill procedures, stuff like that.
And the last one, Trustee Newman, that I've seen do that here in Morton, they had to excavate the entire basement wall, and then that rod with the auger was out beyond that. But they had to take the pressure off the wall in order to pull that in. So it is a lot of excavation along the wall.
I think the permit fee is a little high. I think something in the range of $50 would be more appropriate.
I have no issues with what the fee is. So, I mean, a lot of times you're trying to cover the cost, whatever that may be, so you're probably a couple hours worth of work out of us by the time we're done.
And then this permit would require some type of inspection on the part of the village during backfill?
Yes, yeah.
Is there a minimum of water, of excavation? I mean, I had to do some at my house, but I mean, I just dug it by hand. I mean, what's the minimum a homeowner can do without needing a permit?
lean on Brad a little bit on the difference between.
Sorry to get into the weeds a little bit,
No,
but
no,
I
absolutely,
mean,
for sure. I feel like any excavating on the exterior where you're exposing the foundation should require a permit, because once we get into it, I would rather have the inspector from our office go out, look at it and assess it. And if it's a little overkill on the inspection there, then at least we've erred on the side of safety. So we'd like to Trustee Newman's point, perhaps we lower the fees so that it's not a cumbersome fee, but it's at least going to cover our inspector going out in the field, put eyes on the foundation, put eyes on what we're backfilling with, how we're backfilling that, so that it's a safety concern. It alleviates that safety for the homeowner and for the village as well. Does that kind of answer your question? I guess at the end of the day, I feel like anytime we're exposing foundation on the exterior, it should be inspected.
I mean, I'm all about the gas line deal. I mean, absolutely. But
Because in your point, maybe a homeowner, maybe the excavating, the minor excavation is near the gas meter, or maybe it's
I get
near
that.
the underground hammer that comes up. You know, on new construction, we have the luxury of those all being backfilled before any kind of utility is
I was
brought
just
to the
curious if there
house.
was I was just curious if there's
Yeah.
a minimum.
And this is a large item as far as the feds that have oversight over gas companies. So this is a concern for Ameren,
Oh,
small
sure.
municipals. So this is one of those, high concern areas for them. So I think this helps resolve some of that on Scott's side even also.
And if I might, as well, so when we do exterior sewer permits, so if there's an exterior sewer that's being repaired, we do a permit and an inspection on that. Because a lot of times these laterals that go into the foundation where the overdig happened, it's not backfilled properly. We'll see 15, 20 years later, they're coming in to get a permit because that's where it's separated. So at that time, maybe it wasn't caught that the backfill and the compaction was proper. We do that now. We do a very good job of that now. Our wastewater department inspects that on that end. So really, I think we're kind of building on that kind of inspection.
Now, with that around the foundation, I would like to add, around the entire foundation, we're not going to be out there making sure they get 95% compaction. A lot of these guys want looser material in there, especially when you're doing a foundation repair. Our concern is more putting a clay type material, a heavier, and don't compact over the gas line. So it may be they have a column of more loose granular fill that's more self-supportive where the gas is, if that makes sense. We're not going to be getting in and dictating how much pressure, to put on that wall. So we still may, as a result of our work with the foundation, homeowners may have some settling around there. We're not going to get into that. It's more making sure the service lines and stuff like that are not compromised in their efforts.
Is this ordinance common in other communities? Do you know?
I do not know.
Okay. The second question, would this apply to egress windows if someone wanted to make their basement safer and put an egress window in?
Yes,
Yeah.
well, previously we did not require permits for egress windows, but I feel like that would be appropriate, yes.
The other nice thing we can catch at this time is we do have issues with, sub drains, exterior, perimeter tile disconnect. Some of these companies do have a tendency to run into those issues and make a knee-jerk fix, which causes other problems, maybe draining a perimeter tile, across the sidewalk, and we find those late. So we'll be able to hopefully take care of and start communication with those items too, so.
Brad, you spoke of two different things on cost, and I wanted to know if you had a figure for those. One was the cost of permit for the sewer work inspection.
That's a $50 permit.
Okay.
Just by our guesstimates, I figure we have at least 1 hour's worth of man hours involved in me creating a permit and then going out and inspecting. That's probably very conservative, I think.
And the other one, you talked about the cost for the inspector going out.
Yes, that would be the
with this
same. So
one.
I would create the permit. It'd be my time to create the permit, to assign inspections, assign it, and then in our office, Nick would be the inspector typically to go to the foundation. On our sewer permits, it's the wastewater department. So typically Kevin would go out and do
that inspection.
Would Nick be the one inspecting also around the gas, or would our gas department go out and look at
Yes,
that
that
as
would
well?
be Nick.
If there was an issue,
Now, he'll
you talked about the
coordinate with
digging.
Gas, yeah, so gas will be driving some of that, and keep in mind, when we do permits, Scott is made aware of everything too, so immediately through our program, everyone's made aware of a foundation repair. So it's gonna flag Jamie also at that time, so there may be other guys peeking in with Nick and communicating back to him. So it's not just a Nick solely, it's a team effort, but Nick's kind of the face that would be the guy dealing with the contractor.
But Nick is knowledgeable enough to understand when he gets out there, who else needs to be involved. Nick understands that. And it's very
So
good.
there is the potential others are coming in that
Sure.
that could
100%.
increase the cost
Yes.
to us.
I guess I make an amendment here.
You can propose a friendly amendment, in which case a move-in and the party who seconded would have to consent to that, or you can make a motion to amend and get a second on that to change the fee from the 150 to 50.
I guess I'll make a friendly amendment.
I don't know who had the motion.
Who had the first?
A motion.
Who had the second?
Trustee Hilliard. So if Trustee Mennel and Trustee Hilliard indicate consent to the friendly amendment, the motion can be amended by that friendly amendment proposal. Otherwise, you need to make a motion to amend.
Again, and the fee being $50.
Correct.
Quite frankly, I'm good with the 150 regarding the work and the potential additional staff that may need to go there and inspect. If we may need to have our Jamie there, we may need to have Scott there or someone else from the department. I'm pretty good with protecting and covering ourselves financially there.
So without consent to friendly amendment, now you could, if you desire, make a motion to amend the original motion.
I'll
change
make a
the fee.
motion to amend the original motion to make the fee $50.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, which one do we vote on
You
first?
vote on the amendment first. So a yay to this is to change the fee to $50 on the underlying motion, and nay is to leave it at 150.
Okay, understand, so we'll call a roll on the amended motion.
Parrot.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Mennel.
No.
Leach.
No.
Hilliard.
No.
Blunier.
No.
Motion fails.
All right, now, could we have a vote on the original policy ordinance?
Blunier.
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, next item, the next two are a little easier. These are more just cleanup and simplifying the ordinance. So item D, ordinance 24-04, an ordinance making amendments to chapter 4 of title 8 of the Morton Municipal Code regarding water meter regulations.
If we could have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
This one, we just struck out some incorrect stuff in the code and really just simplifying and cleaning it up. This all involves the radio and transmitter and how it's connected to the meter. But more or less just working with Trent Reed and cleaning these up.
Okay, any comments? Call the roll.
Parrot.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Lastly is item E, ordinance 24-05, an ordinance making amendments to section 8-4-14 of the Morton Municipal Code regarding fire sprinkler systems.
If we have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments?
Yeah, and this one again is just kind of cleaning it up, working with Trent. Basically, it adds, I'll just read it, all systems using a sump pump must have equipment that prevents the suction pressure from going below 20 psi at the village main. The owner of the premises must maintain said equipment, tested and certified to its accuracy at least once per year. Said certification must be made in writing by a qualified party acceptable to the Director of Public Works. Some of this is in there, but it just kind of cleans up what that means, that we don't want the pressure dropping below 20 at the main. So again, it's just clean up, making it correct.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Mennel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Motion carries.
If I could ask another
Yes.
quick question. I'm just curious about A. I agree with everything that you said about
you know, the contract that was selected and the lack of competitive bids. I'm just curious about what are the implications if we don't meet that deadline?
Can't hear you.
What?
He couldn't hear you.
Oh, you couldn't hear me? What are the implications if we don't meet the deadline on that sewer separation project? Because we have a good contractor we selected. The price is a little more than what we budgeted for. We're going to move ahead with it. I'm just curious, what are the implications if we don't meet that deadline that we've been given? If you don't know, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the middle of our draft permit, which actually this week will be done with that being posted. So we'll get our new permit for plant number 2. But I want to defer to Trustee Newman, who worked at the EPA. But I'm assuming we could communicate with them, but I don't know that they're going to give us a lot of grace on that.
I would guess they would if you asked for an extension to that time, because of the fact that you put out the bid and only received one bid, which was way over estimate. I think there's some room for movement to extend it perhaps into the following year. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this thing's been there for 100 years. It's not like one more year is going to make a big difference. And probably the deadline was probably self-imposed to begin with, wasn't it? I mean, it's what we probably had in our CSO plan, what we, I guess, suggested in the CSO plan.
Pushed it off some, but yeah, it went. This was the last piece that was the toughest piece that we kind of put off and put off. So it's in the latest permit. As far as, so if we went to our original permit, it was actually past that date. So we already pushed it off once. And I looked at trying to maybe look at extending the date to see if other contractors would get involved, which I may have had that option too. My fears with workload and stuff, I'm worried that the contractor that got it probably steps back too. So then it's like, so on that issue, that was what I was looking into, if there was interest to extend it to the deadline to October, November. Of course, I'm trying to get it done while school's out, but.
And we will add the additional cost to the appropriations.
Yes.
When we do that in July, so it'll be legal.
I'm happy with the decision. I was just curious about the pressure you had on it.
I'm starting to have a little concern about the lack of bidders on some of these projects. Again, the concrete repairs, I just can't believe we can't get more bidders. And again, this is a case, I can't believe we did not get more bidders on this. I guess I don't see as, you know, I mean, there's a pretty good amount of work out there, but
There's a lot out there right now.
but there are a lot of contractors out there.
We
I just wonder
I'm telling
what.
you right
We had
now,
4
it
or
is
5 very
workload and
reputable contractors
workforce.
take out prints, but I think with their load, they just didn't
I'm telling
think
you right
they'd
now,
get-
there is a workforce issue in this area, period. Now, I agree with you, miscellaneous concrete, I gotta go back to the drawing board a little bit and maybe split it up into smaller contracts to allow smaller contractors to maybe get involved. That was a very big contract, but I'm with you, there should be more bidders here, but I'm telling you, there's a workforce issue in this area right now. So I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that, but yeah, there's no reason the G.A. Rich, the Walkers, the Starks, there's no reasons a company like that would not bid this, Opperly even, that does underground. So those are companies we could ask. I would encourage others to help with that, but I seriously think there's a workforce issue. The amount of people coming out of the halls to do this work, and there's a lot of work out there. So there's no reason that we didn't get more bids on this job. 15-inch storm sewer, 4 to 5. So I'm with you. 4 to 5 foot deep. 4 to 5 foot deep. There's no reason we don't have that.
I think part of it
So-
too is the state with all the infrastructure work they're doing. These, like Stark is building a $10 million 4-lane bridge in Fulton County. I mean, they'd rather go do one great big job than a bunch of smaller jobs. So I think that's part of what we're seeing too, is that.
I mean, I can appreciate there may be a workforce issue here. I mean, there is I don't care where you're at, you can't hire people, it seems like, and I suppose it has spilled over into the construction industry also.
Combined with workload. I mean, I bet if you went to all the contractors I just mentioned right now, and Nate, you could probably help me with this
Yeah,
too.
that's-
I bet every one of them's gonna tell you, we're full. We're full to the end of the year. We got nothing else. I bet you'd get that out of most
There's
contractors.
several that I've talked, I mean, we bid this, on the, private side, and we're seeing that regularly, where we're, the very beginning of the year, and maybe that's a suggestion, is maybe shooting to bid this stuff earlier in the year, because we had more turnout with bidders and more bids, when we were bidding stuff in, January, than what we bid here in the last, couple weeks. Just because, and like you said, everybody's full. You talk to most of the contractors and they're full for the summer. They may be looking for fall work, but for the summer work, they're full. There's a lot of work out there.
Now, our miscellaneous concrete, that's a big job. Now, to me, it's easy work. It's a lot of easy work. So, those are looking at deadlines, seeing if we can break that in two next year. I mean, that's a concern. Obviously, asphalt jobs, I mean, you got two contractors. Those are tough. We've already broken those up. That's why I give a miscellaneous contract and a separate asphalt contract. I think I was the first one in the area to do that. Now Peoria does that, meaning why would I give the asphalt contractor to get two bidders and give them all the concrete? So we're already trying to be creative to break it up. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I want more bidders. I do not like showing up here tonight and getting one bidders on what I consider to be fairly easy work. Now, storm sewer work underground has changed over the last 10 years. I mean, I was involved as a contractor in that business, as a subcontractor doing that. That's a tough business to be in when you're digging 5 foot deep. So there's not a lot out there. There's not a lot of competition. Obviously, you got OSHA, those things. So sometimes maybe people shy away from that. I don't know. I mean, I will say, Morton, I do get a few that, you guys are tough. I'm gonna flat out say, I believe the expectation of you guys and us is, we'll pay a quality price, but we want a quality to go with it. So we do inspect our work. We do expect it. I don't feel like I have any room to put something in and not watch it and see concrete fail, at 10 years, 15 years, stuff like that. So we do spend money, what you see I feel we have a good product out there. So I hope that's not the case, that some people are shying away from bidding that, and going an easier route somewhere else.
And the time frame that you want it done in.
That's
When
another
school-
big
that's a
one.
big
Yeah, and that's trying to figure out how to fit it in with school too. Now, I was open to extending it past this, but I felt like for a 15-inch job for 2 blocks, the end of August basically past school, I felt that's enough to put 4 to 5 foot deep sewer in for 2 blocks. I did hear that concern from one contractor. I'll be honest, I don't buy it. That just meant we got too much work. We'll fill it in when we can, but you're not a priority.
Well, like I was talking to a contractor today that does gymnasiums. He does hardwood floor refinishing, but in the summer, guess what he does? Gymnasiums. Guess how much time he has to do more this summer?
Yeah.
I mean, when it's.
Well, I don't think
locked into
this
a
is
time
an
frame.
easy location either, the
Right.
Jackson State Route and
Yeah.
tight quarters with restaurants. I think it's gonna be a tough issue to get around, keep it going, and then get it done for school.
I'm
So-
committed though, next year I'm gonna work hard and try to get multiple bidders on our concrete job. Obviously our asphalt job's tough. There's not a lot of competition with that, but I promise you, I'm gonna work hard to try to get more bidders on these jobs and figure out what the issues are. But I encourage you guys too, you guys are in the business, communicate with people. Please ask them from your perspective too, why they're not bidding our work, why they're not interested. I would imagine contractors aren't going to let Autobahn just keep, and I love Autobahn, they do great work, but I would imagine they're not going to, when they bid against them on other jobs, they're just going to give a free pass to Morton to keep bidding those jobs. That doesn't make sense to me either. So at some point, I think lack of competition is going to drive competition too. So, nobody's giving a free pass for a contractor to make a bunch of money in one town. There's too much competition out there for that. So. But good question. I appreciate the discussion. I didn't look forward to coming here tonight with one bidder on that. So
Did you have anything else then?
that's all I have tonight.
Okay. Zoning and code enforcement
I
project?
have nothing tonight, Charlie.
Village trustees, anybody have anything tonight? We need no closed sessions tonight, so we will adjourn to sign die. for the swearing in of our new elected trustees. I'll let you take care.
Do we need to motion or anything for that?
Do we need a
We need a
motion?
motion and a second.
So if we could have a motion to adjourn to sign die.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Blunier?
Yeah.
Hilliard?
Yes.
Leach?
Yes.
Mennel?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Parrot?
Yes.
Motion
Okay. We'll swear in the newly elected trustees.
Does anybody have any objection to an order? No, I don't. Okay. Would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I state your name.
I, Brad Mennel,
Having been elected
having been elected
to the office of trustee
to the office of trustee
for the village of Morton,
for the village of Morton,
county of Tazewell,
county of Tazewell,
state of Illinois,
state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will
and that I will
faithfully discharge the duties
faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of trustee
of the office of trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I state your name.
I, Stephen Leach,
Having been elected
having been elected
to the office of trustee
to the office of trustee
for the village of Morton,
for the village of Morton,
county of Tazewell,
county of Tazewell,
state of Illinois,
state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will
and that I will
faithfully discharge the duties
faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of trustee
of the office of trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thanks, so.
You ready?
Yep.
Would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I state your name.
I, Rod Blunier,
Having been elected
having been elected
to the office of trustee
to the office of trustee
for the village of Morton,
for the village of Morton,
county of Tazewell,
county of Tazewell,
state of Illinois,
state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will
and that I will
faithfully discharge the duties
faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of trustee
of the office of trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks to all three of you for rejoining all this fun. So if we could have a motion for adjournment?
Move to approve, to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.